Mishnah Torah, Parshas VaEschanan.
Welcome to Parshas VaEschanan,
It's the second parsha in the book of Devarim.
also known as Mishnah Torah.
Mishnah Torah means a repetition of the Torah, but it's more than just a review of the previous 4 books. It's those points in the Torah Moshe Rabbeinu decided that need to be repeated.
Again and again and again.
In preparation of a new era, a new generation entering the Holy Land.
In the words of the holy Rabbi Moshe Alshech,
1508 till 1593.
Therefore, here in Devarim, also known as Mishnah Torah, Moshe wanted to review the entire Torah. So, just before they were about to enter the land, it would be as clear to them as a Shulchan Aruch, which literally means a neatly set table.
Toras Moshe Alshech, Parshas VaEschanan. Get ready for some really important things here in the Parsha. I mean, really important.
Now, what could be more important than the 10 Commandments? Perhaps Shema Yisrael, you may say?
Well, guess what? Both the 10 Commandments and Shema appear here in our Parsha.
Parshas VaEschanan.
Tell me more.
515 prayers.
How exciting!
The Jewish nation was almost there, ready and raring to enter the Holy Land.
And now, after all of these trials and tribulations, here we are. Soon you will all have the great privilege of entering Eretz Yisrael, Moshe said with much excitement. But then his tone turned serious. However, I am sorry to say, I will not be joining you.
Oh
The people cried out in disappointment, their hearts sinking.
But why?
no! Why?
You know the story. It didn't happen that long ago. I hit the rock instead of speaking to it, so that it would give us water. Moshe responded with tears in his eyes. That was my mistake, and for that I was punished. Hashem has decreed that I shall not enter the land. Moshe then shared with his people how he prayed to Hashem to allow him to enter the promised land. Hashem, Elohim, please, change your decree and allow me to enter the land. The people were sad as their leader continued. Don't think I gave up easily. I asked, I pleaded, I begged with all my heart and all my soul. In fact, I prayed and prayed 515 times to be exact. The people hummed.
I wonder why Moshe is telling us this.
And you know why I'm telling you this? It's so you shall realize how magnificent Eretz Yisrael is, and what a great privilege it is to enter this land. I can't, but you can. Take advantage of this wonderful opportunity and be a holy people in the Holy Land.
Bnei Yisrael understood.
A look from on high. I begged Hashem, Moshe continued, please let me cross over the Jordan now, so that at least I may see the good parts of the land, Jerusalem and the Beis HaMikdash. But it was not meant to be, Moshe continued. Hashem silenced me as he thundered, Ravloch, enough, case closed.
Moshe Rabbeinu,
Someone in the crowd piped up.
does this mean that after all these years of leading us, you will not even be allowed to see the promised land?
Moshe responded, listen, although I will not have the opportunity to step into the Holy Land, Hashem was kind enough to allow me to climb Mount Nevo, right outside Eretz Yisrael. From on top of that mountain, Hashem promised me a miraculous gift of sight. not only will I see the good parts of the land as I have requested, but I will be able to have a perfect vision of the entire land of Israel in all directions, north, east, west, and south.
Oh wow, sure sounds like Moshe Rabbeinu will have a built-in powerful state-of-the-art super-duper high-range telescopic telescope.
Oh, so that's it.
Moshe then turned to his faithful student Yehoshua as he continued to address the crowd. Do not think even for a moment that you will be left as sheep without a shepherd. Hashem instructed me to pass on the leadership to Yehoshua. Indeed, he is a worthy successor to lead you into the promised land. Do not change a thing. And now, Yisrael, Moshe announced, listen to the mitzvos which I am about to teach and review. Listen and perform them so that you may live and inherit the land which Hashem, the God of your fathers, is giving to you.
Moshe began with laying down some important mitzvah rules.
The mitzvos I am about to teach are perfect. Follow them exactly the way Hashem wants. Do not change them whatsoever. Do not add to or subtract from any mitzvah. There are 4 sections inside Tefillin, not 5 and not 3. Take 4 species on Sukkos, lulav, esrog, hadass, and arava, not 5 and not 3. Keep every mitzvah exactly the way Hashem has instructed us to.
Now, you may be thinking,
And should be thinking,
subtracting from mitzvos is not a good thing. But what's wrong with adding to a mitzvah?
That's a good question.
to answer this,
It's time for a Shazak scenario.
Ozzy Ouchkowitz was in a lot of pain.
Ouch!
He cried out.
My stomach is hurting so much.
Well, what did Ozzy expect? After that huge barbecue and stuffing himself with loads of hamburgers, hot dogs, french fries, onion rings?
and to make matters even worse, he topped it off with a giant Parve chocolate fudge sundae,
Loaded with sprinkles,
chunks of brownies,
nuts,
whipped topping,
and a bunch of other high-calorie junk.
Quickly, Ozzy raced to his medicine cabinet and found some Pepto-Bismol for some stomach pain relief.
Baruch Hashem.
Ozzy cried out.
The bottle is full. I need relief and I need it fast.
Ooh, that's bad.
So instead of drinking 4 ounces, Ozzy gulped down all 24 ounces.
What's gonna be?
Guess what happened? As you probably have already predicted,
Ouch! My stomach, what pain. It's hurting so much. It's even worse than before.
Please don't cry.
Is there a doctor in the house?
get the idea? Our rabbis of the Talmud call the Torah a medicine.
Follow the prescription and take the medicine exactly as it says on the label.
Do not add.
And do not subtract.
Torah, Yiptzich, or Recapslach.
Huh? What this guy talking about?
Later in our Parsha, after the 10 Commandments, Moshe continued talking about the dangers of changing. Do not change a thing. You shall not turn to the right nor to the left.
To illustrate this point, put your fingers on a computer keyboard and type the word Torah.
That's spelled Torah.
Now, what would happen if by mistake you shift your fingers just a little bit, 1 letter to the right, and try to type Torah?
It would come out pretty strange.
YPTSJ.
Pronounced.
Now, what would happen if, by mistake, you shift your fingers 1 letter to the left and try to type Torah?
It would come out even stranger.
RIE caps lock G.
Pronounced.
Bottom line, when someone doesn't follow the instructions of Hashem, but shifts even a little bit to the right or a bit to the left, the result sure isn't Torah.
It's
I don't know what that word means.
Or,
This is so confusing.
I know, it's confusing.
The Jewish experience. Think of an event, an earth-shattering historical event that shook the entire world and changed the lives of countless people.
It can be D-Day,
The 6-Day War,
the first moon landing,
9/11,
or the day little Batya Shapiro went to the dentist.
If you weren't around when the event happened and only read about it in a textbook, it could be quite boring.
So boring.
Boring! It has nothing to do with you.
Even if you happen to find the history interesting, it is still not your experience.
But sometimes, even things from the past can come alive.
How so?
Time for a Shazak scenario.
Meet Zadie, also known as Grandpa, the greatest storyteller ever. When he tells his grandkids a story, it comes to life. That's because the stories he tells are things that he himself experienced.
He's not just repeating something he heard.
He is sharing his own experience.
Let me tell you all about the time the American army reached the shores of Normandy, France on D-Day. Our general told us, we will accept nothing less than full victory. I was there. I saw it with my very own eyes. Thank Hashem, we were victorious.
Really, Zadie? Tell us more about it.
And then he tells them.
and tells them.
And tells them.
And tells them.
Etc., etc., etc.
And so on and so on and so on.
5 hours later, and that's the way it was.
Thanks, Zadie. That was almost as good as Queen of Persia.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Now back to the desert scenario. Moshe said to his people, Matan Torah, you personally witnessed the Matan Torah experience at Har Sinai. The mountain burned with fire up to the heavens. You saw the thunder. You heard the lightning. Never let this experience depart from your heart all the days of your life. Now Moshe turned to his people with perhaps one of the most important messages ever. It is your job to transmit this Matan Torah experience. Make it known to your children and your grandchildren. Let them convey this experience to their children and to their grandchildren. Remember, never break this Matan Torah experience chain. Perhaps Zadie had an easy job transmitting his experience down a couple of generations.
But think how difficult this job of passing down this Matan Torah experience a few hundred generations.
But we have done it.
From Moshe to Yehoshua.
From Yehoshua to the elders,
From the elders to the prophets.
all the way down to you and me in the 21st century.
Gloomy Golos. I've spoken to you a lot about Eretz Yisrael, Moshe continued, but above all, it is a holy land. After you have lived in Eretz Yisrael for a very long time, you may become overconfident and think, we are safe, secure, and established in this land. We have children and grandchildren. We are here to stay, forever.
Okay.
Some of the people thought.
And what's wrong with that?
Remember, Moshe said in a forceful voice, at that point you may serve idols made of wood and stone, which neither see, hear, eat, nor smell. Hashem will then quickly exile you from the Holy Land. He will scatter you amongst the nations of the world. It's exile. It's galus.
Galus?
Exile?
It sounds dreadful.
Does that mean we will never have a chance to come back?
Moshe continued, but remember, hope is not lost. Hashem is merciful. While living in that bitter galus, you will seek out Hashem with all your heart and soul, and you will find him. Hashem will once again perform miracles for you, just as he did when he took you out of Egypt. You will return to Hashem, and Hashem will take you out of galus and return you to the promised land. the land he promised to our forefathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov.
Forefathers? I thought there were only 3.
And let's not forget our 4 mothers, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah.
Yeah, they are 4 mothers.
The 10 Commandments. It's more than copy and paste. Remember, Sefer Devarim is Mishnah Torah.
It's those specific points in the Torah Moshe Rabbeinu decided that needed to be repeated.
Any master teacher knows that you don't review by repeating the exact same words of the original lesson. Now Moshe Rabbeinu is going to review the all-important 10 Commandments back in Parshas Yisro.
It's just about the same, but line them up side by side. You'll notice several differences. The most apparent one being the 4th commandment.
Back in Yisro, it's Zachor es Yom HaShabbos. Remember the day of Shabbos.
But in our parsha, we are told to guard or keep Shabbos. Shamar es Yom HaShabbos. As the ancient saying goes, much ink has been spilled to explain these differences.
Open just about any Chumash commentary and you'll see how they talk about it.
And explain it.
And talk about it.
And explain it.
Each one in their own style.
Here at Shazak will explain at least one difference, also relating to commandment number 4, Shabbos.
Moshe adds that not only must people rest on Shabbos, but their animals should as well, and for a good reason. The Jews of the desert were about to become farmers, and it was important for them to know that even their animals needed to take a break. The 10 Commandments. Here is the list, in brief.
For more info and insights about the 10 Commandments, go back to Shazak Parsha, Parshas Yisro in the book of Shemos.
Tablet number 1, between man and Hashem.
1.
I am Hashem.
2.
No other gods.
3.
Keep Hashem's name holy.
4.
Honor Shabbos.
5.
Honor your parents.
Tablet number 2, between man and man.
6.
Do not murder.
7.
Family purity.
8.
Do not kidnap.
9.
Do not be a false witness.
10.
Do not be jealous. Shema Yisrael, a timeless message.
If you thought Moshe Rabbeinu's review of the 10 Commandments was important,
you're right.
Now Moshe Rabbeinu continues with something else that is super important, and this time it's not a review. You're probably familiar with the words, Shema Yisrael. It's the ultimate declaration of faith. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hear, O Israel, Hashem, who is our God, Hashem is one.
Shema.
It's the belief and understanding that there's only one God.
A fancy English word for this is monotheism.
It's what Abraham and Sarah tried to teach the world.
A world full of idol worship.
Hear, O Israel. It's more than hearing. It's understanding.
Comprehending.
Investigating.
You've probably heard people say,
I hear what you're saying.
When what they really mean is,
I understand. Shema Yisrael.
These words are whispered into the little ears of Jewish newborns.
And are the last words uttered by a Jew.
So, Jewish life begins and ends with the purest of faith.
Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad.
But it's more than just words.
When we say the first sentence of Shema, we cover our eyes with our right hand to help us concentrate on the words that came from our great leader. Tune in. Get ready for next week's Parsha, Parshas Eikev. We'll see how Moshe continues with his inspirational words, encouraging his people to keep the mitzvos of the Torah.
He will also
continue to teach new mitzvos.
Tune in next week for another exciting episode of Shazak Parsha.